Hello, everybody. Yeah, I know, same bad quality as last time. Sorry I didn't improve the quality. I was busy looking for a phone tripod, and I don't have Enter the Gungeon on my computer, and I actually tried to do it with the Xbox record function and all that. Game capture record function, all that did was effectively make a 4-minute clip, and I didn't feel like uploading 5 different clips of me clearing a floor one by one. So might as well do it in one big thing. I'm sorry ahead of time. But here we are, Local Idiot Attempt 2 Gungeon Run. Please ignore the orange cat if he decides to come by again. Now I will admit, this is gonna be a little better than last time. I hope. I'm not entirely sure. As you can clearly tell, I'm still very, I don't have a lot I could potentially talk about. So I decided to try and give some opinions of the game. Or at least my own opinions of the game. Now, if anyone wants to, I don't know, respond to my upload of this video on Reddit or in the comments section of this video, I have a little question for you, and why. Why? The question is simple. Who do you think is the weakest and the strongest of the adventurers in Enter the Gungeon? Helix? Ah, God, I hate Helix bullets, no. I mean, if I'm being honest, in my opinion, the strongest overall without like any special conditioner needed is the Gunslinger. The strongest in such circumstances would be the robot during Rainbow Mode because of the amount of junk you can collect and the fact that that certain bullet X can make him pretty damn strong. Strong. And if you get start junking, well, that's just more to enjoy. Now, the weakest for me was a bit weird. When I first started off, I would have immediately said the convict, because I was not a fan of how the enraging photo worked. Every time I get hit, which, I mean, if you think about it, you really should. It made a little sense to me. I mean, you do more damage for a short period of time every time you get hit. And considering how the game sets up the master rounds, I don't entirely think that's a good idea. For boss rooms. Come think of it, I was not a big fan of a lot of damage items. One of which being the bullet item. I do more damage the less health I have. The one time I actually recalled the bullet idol being good was that one run I had that was like 8 spices and the Gungeoneer and the Gunslinger. I was just flying around with like the balloon gun, killing almost everything in 1 to 2 hits. I of course lost that run to the Kill Pillars because Lord of the Jam spawned in that room and decided it would be fun to snipe me in the back. Because I'm flying around. And let me tell you, doing a spice run with the Gunslinger is both an interesting concept and a terrible idea, because let's be honest, the increased damage is nice and all, but the weapon spread combined with the fact that the increased curse means that Jammed is just going to show up. I mean, the only way I could have ended up becoming any stronger that run, I believe, is if I did something like grab a silver bullet, a cursed bullet, and then just go flying. But again, I lost. Let's see how well this works. But back to what I was saying. The weakest, in my opinion, now is the pilot. Look, don't get me wrong. Pilot does have a good quality. Disarming personality is nice and all, but it doesn't give you that much of a discount from what I've noticed, and I'm not particularly fond of the lockpicks. I mean, I'm not particularly fond of the lockpicks, because, yeah, the fact that I could potentially not have to use a key is nice and all, but at the same time, it has its own problems. Like, if it doesn't work, then it flat out don't work. I can't use a key to open the thing, and if it's something like a door or a really good chest, it's annoying. It's really a pain in the ass. And quite frankly, almost heartbreaking. So if I think about it, it's kinda really the pilot. And before I got things like the bullet and the robot, and without saying gunslinger, I would have said the best of the strongest was a mix between the bullet, because of blasphemy, and the Marine. I like his active item because as an on-demand ammo pack is nice and all. But at the same time, and the fact that he spawns with an armor point thanks to his helmet was something I really enjoyed. Don't think of it, the Marine was a lot of firsts for me. He was the first pest I killed, he was the first pest I killed, he was the first time I actually got to the dragon, the first, what was it? Oh, yeah, the first rainbow chest. I think I got the first glitch chest with him. And he's kind of the reason I unlocked some of the other characters. I unlocked Paradox because of the goo on the Marine. I unlocked Bullet with all that lovely stuff when I was playing the Marine. I only started playing the other characters because I was actually interested in their unlocks. Mostly because when I first killed a past and got an unlock, I was actually legitimately curious about the other unlocks. And that got me to eventually unlock what I did and get to where I am. Another question I kinda have is, in your opinion, who is the, I can't really think of another good question that involves Enter the Gungeon. So I'm going to be talking about another game. Marvel Rivals. Yeah, no, look at me, hopping on a bandwagon. I've been playing Marvel Rivals since it first came out, which wasn't that long ago. I went through Just Wonderland, I got all the event skins, I even got that April Fool's emote of Venom. So, Season 2 being Age of Ultron is not something I expected. Also, I saw the trailer for the Hellfire Gala. I will admit, the fact that I actually saw Doom talk to Loki there makes me think that we might actually get the Doom 99. Yeah, I know. He's been planned the entire time, and everybody makes it clear they want to play as a tank Doom. But the Doom I think we're going to get is the 2099 one. For you people who don't know what Doom 2099 is, a long story short about his origin, he's effectively, I think... Is that another character? No, that was right. He's the grandson of both Reed Richards and Dr. Doom. And he's a Doom from the future, obviously. I mean, he's a 2099 character. Gotta admit, family reunions must be friggin' awkward. After all, we know exactly how Doom feels about Reed Richards. And most of the Fantastic Four, come to think of it. If I remember correctly, he sees Ben as an oaf. He just downright hates Human Torch because of the wedding incident. I'm still not entirely sure what he thinks of Susan. I don't think he actively has a problem with her. And he just seems to hate Reed for no reason. I actually can't remember why exactly he hates Reed. Oh, god damn it, not this boss. But, I will admit that Now, that does bring up a good question in my head. Who exactly was Doom's kid? Because there's only like two situations where I think where I know a Reed kid would end up having kids. Franklin Richards, the son of Susan and Richards, and the second child, Elania. You know, the one that Doom helped Susan give birth to. Now, that was an interesting comic. Long story short, Susan's pregnant, she's going into labor, yada yada yada. And while she's going into labor, someone yells that, "Oh, Susan's going into labor! Labor! Someone get a doctor!" And Johnny, in all of his instant wisdom, decides to grab the closest doctor he can think of. Victor Von Doom. And one thing led to another, he gave birth, and Doom helped with the birth. His only requirement was that he names the child. And if I'm being honest, kinda reasonable, considering Doom. But in the same hand, you have to stop and think. Was that really the best plan? Like, don't get me wrong, Doom was definitely the best option they had, but at the same time, Doom always has a plan, and he was probably exploiting it for his own benefit. I mean, he's still doing it in Marvel Rivals. I mean, he tried to take the Darkhold from Strange at one point for one of his schemes. Strange said no, so trying to learn like all the dark magic in the universe, he goes to Dracula. Which, let's be honest, I don't care who the hell you are, or unless you're someone like Doom, it is a terrible idea to go near Dracula. And of course, Dracula goes, "Go ahead, take a drink of my blood," or offers something to make Doom his ally, only for Doom to double-cross and betray him. And honestly, let me just say, this reinforces one weird thing that I will almost always say when it comes to the Fantastic Four. Doom has a hell of an ego, but unlike other people in the Marvel Universe, Doom actually deserves the ego. Because I'm fairly certain there's no one else in Marvel who could pull a fast one on Dracula and get away with it, considering the amount of bullcrap Drac managed to do with the Darkhold. Oh, and Doom just absolutely just screwed him over. Yes, I know, I sound like a Doom fanboy, but this was because, Yes, I sound like a Doom fanboy, but I'm going to be honest with you. Name one other person who could do that. Just, seriously. There are 4 people in Marvel that I will always fanboy over. Tony Stark, because I grew up on the MCU movies, and I like Stark. Spider-Man, was always a Spider-Man fan. Doom, because, yeah, I know Marvel Comics loves Doom to the point that I'm fairly certain Doom has the villainous version of plot armor. And I know it's going to sound stupid, but when I first started reading Marvel, one of my and of course Thor, because for some reason he was always just stupid fun. Yes, I'm a bit biased, blah blah, MCU. Most of my knowledge comes from the MCU movies, because I've been watching the movies longer than I've been reading the comics. Now, granted, I could have just been peculiar and say I love Deadpool and fanboyed over Deadpool, but I only really started fanboying over him once I watched the movies, because the comics, it's a bit odd to think about, but I weirdly thought that Deadpool wasn't being used properly. I mean, yeah, he's a funny joke character, but his backstory kind of brings up some exploration that could be attended. Like, I don't know, his daughter, or the Or the Weapon X story. I mean, for heaven's sake, you could probably even bring up how he... Or you could just bring up his girlfriend. You know, the fact that he had to leave her so she wouldn't be doomed to be with a man fated to die. But yeah, half the time I feel like Marvel's just using Deadpool as a cheap joke or trying to pull reference humor in the comics. And, well, the movies I think did him a bit more justice. He's still a hilarious fourth wall breaker, but he does have those genuine moments. So, yeah, I don't really, and ironically enough, I first came across Deadpool because of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Ultimate Spider-Man. I will admit it now, without nostalgia. Ultimate Spider-Man was a bit... iffy. I mean, it was decent, but at the same time, it didn't do anything particular, and the more I think about it, the fact that it wasn't the best representation of the Spider Crew, but at the same time, it was just decent. I couldn't say it was particularly special, and particularly good, and I couldn't say it was particularly bad. Though, it was mostly my childhood. Son of a... freaking hate minutes. But, hey, it was good. I will admit, though, I kind of agree with the hates. Hinkwiki. I was not a fan of Nova. I don't know why I didn't like Nova, I just knew that Nova was annoying. He was great sometimes, and other times he could be funny when he got humiliated. No, that was just a majorly me thing, though. Most of the wikis I find claim that the fans seem to hate him because he's a bit immature and a cocky punk compared to his comic book counterpart. And I will admit I haven't read his comics, so I have no idea what the hell he's like in the... He's supposed to be like in the comics. Moving on from... where was I? Oh yeah, Marvel Writers. The announcement of Emma Frost as a tank. I did not pay attention to the fact that Emma Frost was a tank. I was a bit more concerned about the fact that, well, the game decided to make both Ultron and Rogue supporters. You know, the healer DPS. The healer. I mean, if Rogue was something like, say, a DPS character, or Ultron being a tank because of that adamantium shell, I was all for it. And then it confused me, because, well, yeah, it's Ultron and Rogue. Considering how Rogue kills almost everything she touches, and Ultron's whole gimmick of hey, no organic life, I was not expecting them to be healers. Now, the more I think about it, the more I realize it's probably not Ultron doing the healing. It's more his drones. Though the idea of just turning around one day and getting healed by Ultron in the middle of a battle must be a trip, especially if they had something like Hank Pym or Alan Scott or any of the Ant-Men. That'd be something to see. Yeah, I'm not getting that. I'm not dealing with that. But, again, it would be funny. So, maybe the reason Ultron can heal is that maybe he just wants to get his drones around. I mean, yeah, he's a AI that just seems to hate everybody, but, well, I'm fairly certain even he wants to keep his drones around, because, come on. Don't harm the help. Don't harm the help if you can help it. Help it. Though, Rogue. That one's going to be interesting. Very interesting. Mostly because, well, it's Rogue. Like I said, her power's kind of the opposite of healing. And now, of course, if we're going to keep going about characters that haven't been added to the game yet, Blade being added, or being confirmed to be added, it's going to be fun. And the fact that the Marvel Rivals team said they are going to absolutely add Deadpool, well, there's two things I know the fan base are going to be fawning over. Fourth wall breaks from Wade and, well, which way are they going to use? Because they are very clearly leaning on the whole multiverse stuff. I mean, if I recall correctly, they're using the Psylocke from the Marvel Yokai comics. I think those are what those are called. So it's not a Psylocke from the main universe. And so on. And then there's the fact that the Squirrel Girl, Blade, and Spider-Man, I believe, are all from the Marvel vs. Vampires comic run / universe. And like I said earlier, then there's the fact that I'm fairly certain that if Thing and Wolverine's dialogue's anything to go by, Wolverine and Thing aren't from the same universe either, but, well, let's be honest. If I recall correctly, I think the war between the two Dooms actually split the main Marvel Rivals universe into, like, 6 timelines. The problem is I can't really recall whose timeline is... Ooh, I need to go check that out. Which timeline is which? Also, speaking of Marvel Rivals, I'm going to be haha funny. I like Jeff the Land Shark. Yes, I acknowledge he can be a bit of a pain. And then there's the whole Galactica bit. Well, admit, could possibly get annoying hearing her voice lines over and over and over again when you're very clearly just trying to enjoy yourself. Like, it could be annoying sometimes, but it's not end-all be-all. Speaking of Galactica, found her origin kind of funny. I can't exactly remember how she happened. The comic run I got introduced to her claims that she was a tapeworm inside the big Galactus fellow, and and thanks to the power Cosmic, she just gained a new life as Galactica. So, yeah, there's that. That, which, of course, is kind of funny to think about because, well, the idea of Galactus, the Great Devourer, having a tapeworm is, well, I don't know why, but the idea of someone like Galactus having a minor problem, a tapeworm problem, will never cease to interest me. But then again, there's also all manner of other things, really. If anyone else has any other origin for Galactica, feel free to let me know. Oh, and what was probably one of the worst situations you ended up in Rivals? I'll tell you mine. I was playing tank. More specifically, Thing. Because I was testing him out, and quite frankly, I like playing this thing. I get a lot of assists that way, and if I'm having a good day, I can get quite a few wins. I can get quite a few assists. I can do quite good because, well, he's just overpowered. Stone Haymaker can help out a lot. In a lot of situations, the extra shielding means that if you have a strong enough DPS or competent healer, they don't take any damage. But, well, the reason I bring up my Marvel Rival story is simple. I was in the middle of trying to protect. I was in the middle of flying over to my Invisible Woman. I had turned the temporary health synergy bonus on, and I was very clearly doing my damnest best to try and keep my healers alive. Because let's be honest, whenever I'm tank, I will almost always go right for the healer. I'm either attacking the enemy player healer, or I'm keeping my healer alive. Because let's be honest, one of the most annoying things to deal with when it's a tank is the fact that the second you turn around, everybody just thinks it's a good idea to fire at whatever healer you have. Mostly if it's, say, I don't know, rocket. Like, if I'm playing this thing, you know I'm playing for that rocket. I see a rocket on the other team, I will charge right at it. Mostly because I'm not a big fan of his revival beacon. Granted, his ultimate's not the best, but again, beacon. Annoying. 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 But at the same time, I kind of, annoying, kind of, just get rid of Rocket, because between his mobility, ability, and everything he could potentially do, combined with the fact that his healing has surprisingly long range. He's surprisingly long ranged for a healer. I was going right at him. I was keeping my Luna Snow safe. Well, shit. Well, that'll do this one again. But back to my story. I was enjoying myself. Keeping my rockets safe, making sure my Psylocke and my Invisible Woman both had their defense shield up. Mostly the Invisible Woman because I know for an absolute fact that if you pick any of the Fantastic Four in a support lobby, almost someone is going to try and pick up a synergy with them. Mostly the Invisible Woman synergy. I can't seem to get the fastball special, and, I would see the other synergy, but I don't think anyone actually plays Storm anymore. Like, she was all over the frickin' place when her synergy with Torch was revealed. Couldn't go 2 games without seeing a Storm suddenly showing up, and next thing I know, there's a fire tornado on my ass. But, well, I was trying to do the full Fantastic Four synergy. Keep the entire team alive. That sort of thing. And what do I hear? I hear the enemy Loki yell, "Your powers are mine!" I turn around, and the next thing I hear are 2 Winter Soldiers yelling, "I'm dead and dangerous!" and jumping me. And specifically me. And the reason why I consider it the worst, even though it's already bad enough if you're something like a support or a tank, no, simple. I got revived by Adam Warlock, only to get jumped by the 2 Winter Soldiers. Again. They jumped me, they jumped my team, they insta-killed my Warlock in like 2... They insta-killed the Warlock in like 2 hits. Yeah, we lost that game pretty badly. Let me tell you, that is genuine pain right there. it was kind of why I was a little, I was having some trauma when Clone Rumble was introduced. Like, I just knew you were going to get two bad situations. And in those opinions, my two bad situations are multiple Doctor Stranges, because I have been on the receiving end of a jackass Doctor Strange portal stuff. Let me tell you, when a Strange thinks they're funny by leaving a portal over a pit that only the flying characters can get over, it's not particularly fun. But, my biggest concern was the idea of multiple Winter Soldiers. Because I knew the second that they chose anyone, any second there was a possibility of more than one Winter Soldier showing up, you are going to hear again and 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 again. I was not really a fan of Clone Rumble playing it. I only played like 3 games, and my games were not particularly fun. Like, the first game I played, it was Moon Knight and Punisher. The amount of times I got bombarded was honestly just a pain. You turn a corner and you either hear Judge, Jury, Executioner, or you just hear leave them, or you just hear the moon haunts you. And there were Ankhs everywhere. Couldn't go fight thee without seeing a bloody Ankh. Let me move you to the screen. Like, seriously. And then the second game I played, it was, I believe, Winter Soldier and, what was it? Winter Soldier and, Winter Soldier and The Thing. I decided to go with Thing. I should not have gone with Thing, because that whole story about the 2 Winter Soldiers that jumped me, yeah, that was 4 of them. There was fucking 4 of them. 4 things, 2 Winter Soldiers versus 4 Winter Soldiers, and like, I think 4 or 5 Winter Soldiers, actually. Oh my god. I got shot in the head so many times. I think the one Clone Rumble game I actually won, it was Iron Man and Jeff the Land Shark. And I did not have that much fun there either. If I was Jeff, I was getting an old Iron Man old flow shoved right into my face. If I was Iron Man, I was somehow shot out of the damn sky by Jeff. Could not win. It was not pleasant. It was not pleasant for me. Me at all. But it was like the only time I think I won. And honestly, I don't know what they were thinking with Clone Rumble. I mean, yeah, it was nice they had some limits. No Loki, so there weren't so many clones. No Doctor Strange, so servers don't crash from the portals. And no supporters with a healing ult, so the matches don't last forever. But the voting system was kind of janky and stupid, because every time I was part of it, everyone kept voting for characters like Namor or Storm. I actually think there was one guy there were like, my first Clone Rumble game, there were like 2 people. There were like 2 people that wanted Spider-Man. And let me tell you, that sounds like a nightmare. Because I just probably suck. But every time I play Spider-Man, I'm getting killed easily by the Hawkeye in the back, or I get shot in the face by a Punisher. Yet when I'm playing against Spider-Man, he's flying halfway across the goddamn map, and the second I turn around, I get webbed. Webbed and uppercut for a 2-hit combo that nearly kills me, and then I get kicked, and then I get punched in the face. Again, might just be me. I might just suck. But at the same time, I might think I'm just basic. Let me think. Like, seriously, my mains are relatively straightforward. My main for tank are Penny and the Thing. My main for DPS is Punisher. And my main for healer is, well, Jeff or the Invisible Woman. Yes, I know, how very basic of me. So that might be why I seem to have the same problem I always do. Like, constantly. If I'm playing Thing, it's usually because I got sniped by a Hawkeye. If I'm playing healer, it's because I can't seem to go 2 feet without a Storm or an Iron Man finding my ass. And if I'm DPS, I somehow got the attention of the Hela and the Hela and the Storm, and somehow those Hela and Storm somehow kill me more often than anyone else. Like, I actually recall a game where I couldn't go 5 minutes without getting headshot by Hela. Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, oh, Jesus. Like, Jesus, that was not a fun time for me. I swear, if I actually had a mic to yell into the Xbox, an Xbox chat mic, I'm fairly certain I would have accidentally would have angered my teammates by, like, one game because I ended up yelling. Because I was like, can someone get rid of the fucking Invisible Woman for me, please? I'm in the middle of constantly dying. Like, seriously, I am fairly certain that I would have angered my teammates by doing that. I'm fairly certain I would have angered my teammates by doing that. The only other time I actually talked like that was this one round where I kept getting shot at by the Hela. Like, I was playing as someone like, who was I playing as? Oh, yeah, I was playing as Rocket, and I was fairly certain that if anyone could hear me, they would hear me essentially yell, hey guys, there's an Iron Man shooting at us. Do you mind killing it, please? And unsurprisingly, I was the only one. Like, it was not a fun time for me. Fairly certain I would have definitely angered my teammates by yelling about an Iron Man. Does anyone else have that problem in Marvel Rivals? Like, that one flying character shooting at you as it's born and getting annoyed by the fact that everyone's either ignoring the sniper or the flying character who's very clearly shooting at you? I mean, come on. Granted, my experience might not be universal. So, who knows? Who knows? What else can I think of? You know what? Instead of, I'm just gonna focus on the game. I realize I'm just gonna focus on the game. Yeah, that sounds like a sounds like a small idea. Yeah. Okay, quick question, Jack. What the hell does this even do? Like, seriously. Fuck. Why do I have both good active items while I have such an overpowered thing like the drill? Oh, hey! I completed that hunt. Neat. Oh, fuck. Fuck, and I was doing so good, too. Might as well build this up a bit. Let's just... Good, bad. Oh shit. God damn it. Oop. Chat, gonna be honest. Don't think I might complete this one either. Oop. Metronome and Alien. I never thought about that possibility. Might be fun. Wow. I will admit, this is not my best one. Not as good as it could be. Sorry. Oh, like I said, I'm sorry, I don't have a tripod and I don't have it on my computer. I don't have Enter the Gungeon on my computer. I've been meaning to get it, but my Steam account's being a little funky right now, so I'm not going to be able to get it. So this is the best I can do. I'm not going to use the game capture to just upload this in like 4 minutes constantly. And that Panther got my eyes. Why do I even have this banner? I don't even have any companions. Wish there was an ability to swap between weapons with metronome on that doesn't cause me to lose the option. Is this really worth it? I'm gonna go further with this. How far can I go with this? Like, is right the farthest I can go without that synergy? synergy that makes the thing silver, or no, I'm not dealing with that crap unless I can fly. Those are the rules. I think this is my maximum. Kind of nice how I'm killing a lot of things in 1 to 2 hits. Ow, shit. What does that thunk even do to Oop. Oop. Oop, oop. Well, they got his enemies. So I could start a few points. Free metronome. Oh, it's a bonus. Wait, that's it? Ah, damn it. Not nearly as effective as I... Excuse me, what the fuck is that? Not my day. Not my day. So I'm just gonna... Kiki. How many Kikis? Whatever. Well, that'll be it, folks. Have a good day.